Hey, what's up, guys? I know I haven't uploaded at all recently. School's been hard. This was meant to be like a summer channel. I haven't put much effort into it during the school year. High school's pretty annoying. But anyway, I'll be doing a deck profile today. This is sort of like my main deck right now. Destiny heroes are like my favorite archetype, so I decided I'd make a deck with them, and I have playtested this deck so much. This is like the deck I've playtested the most. It's pretty much all I've been doing in my free time in the past few months. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been able to make videos is just because I've been playtesting this deck, saving up money, buying cards for it, all that stuff. I'll be showing you the deck profile, and then I'll be showing you like other cards I tried to run with it, and I'll have a video with replays coming out, hopefully soon. I really haven't been able to upload recently. I'm very sorry about that, but I don't have that many subscribers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just kind of haven't been feeling the whole vibe thing. I had a lot of tests. It's been hectic. So we'll start out with the main deck. 3 Malicious. It's pretty simplistic. These matte sleeves are like, the glare on these is intense, but sorry, I'll try to get different sleeves eventually. But these pink ones are kind of nice, so I've kept them. They're a little damaged now because I've used them so much, but yeah, gives them character, I guess. They're not marked or anything, but 3 Malicious. You banish him, summon another one from your deck. Probably best card in the deck because he gets all your combo plays off and everything. I'm playing 2 Drilldark. This is a change I recently made. I was playing this at 3. It's actually like way better than you'd think. Like if you're playing like elemental heroes with like Destiny heroes teched in, which a lot of people do, then you probably want to run this guy at 1 or don't run him at all. Like if you're just playing elemental heroes with Malicious and like Plaguespreader Zombie, maybe like 1 or 2 Armageddon Knights, then but Drilldark is really good in this deck because if you have Drilldark and Malicious in your hand, you summon the Drilldark and then you summon out the Malicious. Look at this glare, Jesus. Anyway, you summon the Drilldark, summon the Malicious, and then you can do stuff with that. So that's why he's really good. It comes really well with Red Resonator because if you open this and then open with a Red Resonator in your hand, then you can summon the Red Resonator, summon the Drilldark, summon the Mali, go into Coral Dragon, go into Tzolkin. Pretty easy combo right there. That's one of the main combos this deck makes. Sorry, my voice is a little sore. Then 1 Celestial. So a lot of people will be like, "What? Why not run 2 and stuff?" So I tried that. So what Celestial's for is, well, if you draw him, you want him to be in the graveyard. You don't want him to be in your hand or anything, or on the field even. Like you want him to be in the grave. So you either use Destiny Draw to get him in the grave, or if you draw him, if you open him, which you don't want to do really, you want to get Drilldark as well, so you can make a rank 4 play by summoning this, overlay. So you don't want to open with Celestial, you want to send it to the grave, either with Beatrice during your opponent's turn, so you can draw during your next turn, or with Destiny Draw from your hand. So he's really just an extra Destiny Draw target that also gives you hand advantage. That's why he's good. I've got 2 Shadow Mist, not 3. 3 clogs too much in this deck. You don't even really use him for his special summoning thing, to like search Mass Change. You use him to search your other heroes when he's sent to the graveyard. That's the main effect you use with him. Or her. But yeah, so like, usually what you're going to do is you're going to use Beatrice or whatever, send it to the grave, and then search out like Malicious, so you can discard it with like Destiny Draw, but if you do draw it, you can use Red Resonator with it, summon it, search a Mass Change, do that classic combo with Shadow Mist. So that's it for like the hero core. There's just 8 heroes. That's all you really need. If you have room to run like a 2nd Celestial or a 3rd Drilldark, then you can do that. I prefer 3 Drilldarks over 2 Celestials. So, but you just do whatever you want. Once Vision Hero Vion comes out, the deck's gonna change a little bit. I'm assuming Norden's probably going to get hit, so I might cut the instant fusions into this deck and put in some Vions, but then that's if we get a ban list. Thanks, Konami. 3 Red Resonator. It's like the main tuner of the deck. It's like the 2nd most important card behind Malicious. It jumpstarts a bunch of your plays, like like I said, the classic, this combo, summon this, summon this, summon this, go into Tzolkin. Let's Shadow Mist, Search Mass Change if you have it in your hand. If you had this with Summoner Monk, you summon this, summon Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk will pitch like a little special summon like a Armageddon Knight, and dump Malicious to grave, summon it, get out Tzolkin that way. It's just a really good card. Yeah, you could cut one of these for another Resonator Call if you wanted to, but I kind of like the 3 red Resonator, and I'm running 1 Resonator Call as opposed to 2 and 2, because sometimes 3 red Resonator is important to have. Then the other tuner, 1 Plaguespreader Zombie. I prefer running this at 1 instead of at 2. I've tried it at 2. You can do it, but like you don't want to draw the card. If you do draw it though, it doesn't matter if you banish it with Allure, because you have a second one. But what you want to do with this is either send it to the graveyard with Beatrice, or send it to the graveyard with Foolish, or Armageddon Knight, or something like that. You want to get it in your grave, basically. It combos well with Malicious. Like, if you have both these in your grave, you can return something to the top of the deck with Plaguespreader to special summon it, and then banish Malicious, summon another Malicious, and then when you do that, it shuffles your deck, so the card you put on back on top of the deck, you won't draw again. I'm so tired right now. But anyway, yeah, that's it for like the tuners of the deck. Then for some of the other monsters, I'm running 2 Shaddoll Dragon. This is kind of new. You need like another target to send to the graveyard with stuff, and this I think was the best one. It's really good to have this because if you summon out Beatrice, then during your opponent's turn, if your opponent has a spell or trap that you want to get rid of, you use Beatrice's effect to send this to the grave, and then just pop it, because it's a quick effect, so Beatrice basically acts as like an MST. And then also, if you draw this, its flip effect is still pretty good. It acts as like a compulse. You put one of your opponent's monsters back to their hand, or cards back to their hand. I was running 1 of it, and then I decided to put it to 2. Sometimes you need that extra destruction with Beatrice or whatever. Or like summon an Armageddon Knight, and then Armageddon Knight acts as an MST. Then we got 2 Summoner Monk, 2 Armageddon Knight, and 1 Dark Grepher is sort of like the rest of the main like dark engine. So Summoner Monk, you summon it, discard a spell. This deck has like 18 spells, I believe. And then you could summon a level 4 monster from your deck. Usually you're going to summon like Armageddon Knight, send either a Malicious or Plaguespreader Zombie. But if you have one of those 2 already in your hand, you can summon Dark Grepher and discard it, and send the other one to your graveyard. And it's just an easy way to go into Tzolkin. You could run 3 Armageddon Knights instead of the Dark Grepher if you wanted to. But the reason I like Dark Grepher is because, if you have Mally in your hand and you draw Dark Grepher, you can discard the Malicious and special summon Dark Grepher. So that's why he's good. And these are just basically, they're not text necessarily. They're necessary for the combos to go off, but they're not necessary for like the main engine of the deck, I guess. It is really nice you can search these guys with ROTA though, because it's really useful. Anyway, last monster of the deck is Lunalight Black Sheep. Now, the reason I'm running this is because of Fusion Substitute. So, I'll get to that later, but the reason I'm not running 2 of it is because with Lunalight Black Sheep, if you draw this and you draw like an Allure, then like if you don't have another target for Allure, for example, it's better to have this in your hand than have another like Fusion Substitute in your hand, because you wouldn't be able to use Allure. So if you have this and this is all the cards in your hand basically, yeah, you can activate this, draw 2, and then banish this. Whereas if you have this and then Fusion Substitute, you wouldn't be able to use it. I mean, you could still use it, but like you don't know that you are going to have a dark monster in your hand. Then for the spells, 3D draw and 3 Allure, just consistency basically. Can't even tell these are supers really. But anyway, like look, these 2 are supers and this one's a secret, and you can't really tell that much. I'm gonna get more secret rare ones, but I haven't max rarity'd this deck out because I just want to buy the cards as cheap as I could, and then I'll start upping the rarity a little bit. But these are just for consistency basically. You could cut this to 2 if you really wanted to, but I don't recommend cutting this at all, because like With this, you only have 6 targets. With this, you have, what is it, like 17? Yeah, 17. Because there are 20 monsters and 3 of them are Red Resonator. 17 targets, 6 targets. So, yeah. Then I'm playing 2 Instant Fusion. I didn't have room for a third. You don't need a third. Norden actually isn't that important to the deck. It just sort of fixes, like, it's sort of a comeback card. Like, if you already went off with your play, you can activate Instant Fusion, do stuff. Or, like, if you already have your play finished, and you have a spare Instant Fusion left over, then you can activate it and then go into, like, a rank 4, or, like, another level 8 Synchro Dragon or whatever. That's all it's really useful for. Then we got 2 Pot of Acquisitiveness. This thing's really good. I love this card in the deck. Basically, you activate it, and you can, like, recycle your used up Maliciouses. Like, you'll have 1 in the grave, you'll have 2 banished, and then if you have, like, your Plaguespreader Zombie banished, then you can activate this, shuffle these back into the deck, draw 1, and then you can use Malicious as effect again, because these guys will be back in the deck. So, yeah, it bricks really hard if you run 3 of it. Even running 2 of it can brick sometimes, because it won't always be useful. But I like having 2 of it, because being able to use Malicious, like, 9 times is really nice. Like, you run out of your extra deck cards before you run out of your main deck cards. Whereas, otherwise, you would run out of your main deck cards first. Then, 2 mass change. I'm running Darklon Anki, so you only have 2 targets for it anyway. You don't need 3 of it. 3 of it just bricks. 2 of it's really nice, though, because if you mass change something into an Anki, beat over something with Anki, you can search out another mass change into Darklaw during your battle phase still, and, like, attack directly with Darklaw. Then you've done, like, maybe 3,000 damage, and you've left your opponent with a Darklaw, so pretty nice. For, like, the 1-of spells, Resonator Call, E-Call, ROTA, all just sort of searchers. I like running an E-Call more than running a 3rd Shadow Mist, because if you have Tzolkin on the field, you can set this, and then summon something, then activate this, and then search a Shadow Mist. It thins your deck a lot, which is nice. This thing, you could run 2 of this and cut Red Resonator down to 2 if you wanted to. I'm debating it. Playtesting with it, like, sometimes 3 Red Resonators comes up. Sometimes you only need 2. It just sort of depends. ROTA searches out, like, everything in your deck, though, so it's really useful to have. If it goes up to 2, I'm running 2 of it. If it goes up to 3, I'm running 3 of it. It's a really good card. And that's it for, like, your search cards. Then I'm playing Fusion Substitute that I talked about earlier. So this card, your 1 target is Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. And with Starving Venom, like, the restriction on Fusion Substitute is that all the materials have to be on the field. But with Starving Venom, they have to be on the field anyway. So it's not really a restriction. It's sort of just playing around the restrictions of the Fusion monster already there. But then the other thing it does is if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, put a Fusion monster from your graveyard back in your extra deck, and then draw a card. So if you have Norden in the graveyard, right, you can banish this from your grave, put Norden back in the extra deck, draw a card, and then you can use your 2nd Instant Fusion. So it's really, really nice. For the rest of the spells, we got... There's traps in there, too. Foolish and Raigeki. Foolish, you just send anything you need to the graveyard. It's pretty simple. Raigeki blows up your opponent's field, so pretty basic cards, but definitely staples in the deck. For the traps, you saw earlier, Bottomless Trap Hole and Time Space Trap Hole. They're just Rafflesia targets. That's all they're in here for. You kind of need to run Rafflesia, I found out, because you need, like, a defensive rank 4 play, and it's kind of the best one you have here, so, yeah. That's it for, like, the main deck. I love doing that. Just sort of, like, slide it along here, but, yeah. Anyway, onto the extra deck. We got the Tzolkin. So the way you usually summon this is by using this, and then this, because this is a tuner, and then if you do that, you draw a card because of this. But you can also use this if you want, because then you draw a card when this is summoned, and then you draw a card when this is sent to the graveyard, so you'll draw 2 cards. But to do that, you kind of need Plaguespreader Zombie. Tzolkin, really, really good. Summons all your dragons and stuff. It's really nice. 2 Coral Dragon. So this thing, what you do with this is, like Red Resonator is usually where you're going to use summon this. You gotta level 4 in your hand, you got Red Resonator in your hand, summon Red Resonator, summon your level 4, go into this thing. It's really nice because you can discard a card, destroy one of your opponent's cards, and when it's sent to the graveyard, you draw a card. Well, sent from the field to the graveyard, that's important, because like if you summon Beatrice with this thing, and you detach it as a material, you won't draw a card. This thing, Stardust Charge Warrior, so this one's in German. I have my translation here, but this one's English. But anyway, Stardust Charge Warrior. When it's summoned, you draw a card, and it can attack all your opponent's special summon monsters once each, but that never comes up because it's only got 2,000 attack, so it kind of sucks. But you just use it to draw cards. You could run 2 Coral Dragons instead of run 2 Stardust Charge Warriors instead of running 2 Coral Dragons if you wanted to. But I like the 2-in-1 instead of the 1-in-2. If my opponent kills my Coral Dragon to try to prevent me from going into Tzolkin, I can summon another one and then go into Tzolkin anyway. Then for the dragons, you'll summon Clearwing, Void Ogre, Scarlight. So this would be a Crystal Wing if I had to spare $80 to spend on a shiny piece of cardboard. But because I don't, it's a Clearwing. So yeah, but these two are really useful. I mean, this one's useful too, but like Clearwing or Crystal Wing's more useful. But what this does is negates monster effects, this negates trap effects, and this can OTK, because if you summon this and you already have like 4 other special summon monsters on the field, you can use its effect to destroy your other 4 monsters and inflict 2,000. So like after you attack with everything, if they still have some life points left, you can use its effect, destroy your monsters, go for game. It's pretty nice. And if your opponent has special summon monsters, you can blow those up too. I was trying to run like Black Rose and stuff, and it's just not anywhere near as good, because it killed itself too, so this thing's like the best out of like the destroying things. You can run like Moonlight, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon or whatever it's called. You can run Michael, the Arclight Sword. I don't. Scarlight's better, but yeah, that's it for the synchros. For the fusions, Starving Venom. It sort of acts as like a Utopia Lightning sort of thing. You summon it, your opponent has a special summon monster. You gain its attack, beat into it, destroy it. Not necessarily as good as Utopia Lightning, but I don't have room for Utopia Lightning, and Fusion Substitute helps with Norden, recycling Norden, so that's why this is in here. Dark Law, Anki, Floodgate, Beater, can attack directly for game when it beats into something. You add a mass change, and you can mass change it into Dark Law, leave your opponent with a Dark Law, pretty useful. Norden's your instant fusion target, obviously. Summon anything you need from grave. Easy ways to go into Tzolkin, that sort of thing. This thing, yeah. So if Beatrice gets killed, you summon this thing out. This doesn't come up very often, but if your opponent figures out you don't run this in your extra deck, then they won't be afraid to kill Beatrice. But it's sort of more as like a deterrent. Like I was looking at like the psychological aspect of this, and I realized that like if my opponent thought I had this, I could stall with Beatrice for longer because they wouldn't kill it. But if my opponent knew I didn't have this, then they would not be afraid to kill Beatrice basically, and then just attack for game. So it's really nice to run. You could cut it if you wanted to, but I find it's nice. For the Xyz monsters, Castel, Rafflesia, Beatrice. Castel's your sort of offensive Xyz play. If it's like later game, you need to remove something, you go into Castel. If it's early game and you just have like enough cards to make a rank 4, go into Rafflesia, and you can prevent your opponent from summoning for like a turn or 2. Beatrice is basically like one of the core cards of the deck. You summon it, and you can send like Shaddoll Dragons to the grave, blow stuff up, or you can send like Malicious and then get more combos off. It's a really, really good card. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. So I'll show you some cards I was planning on, or like I play tested with, and I'll tell you why I cut them, so you can sort of understand what I've done with this deck, and like what I've already tried. And then you can, like, if you can give me any ideas of like what I could try, that'd be helpful as well. Sort of give you guys an idea if you want to build like this sort of deck, what works and what doesn't. Like I said, if you have any ideas for me, that'd be really helpful. If you see what I've already tried, then I think it'd be more helpful to you. But I've tried Zephrys. I like this because you can go. There's a combo where you can go into Tzolkin without having any cards basically. You have like one face-up card, basically, and that's it. So let's say you had like a Red Resonator face-up, and you had these 3 cards in your graveyard. Then you could return to the hand with Zephrys, take 400, return to the top of the deck with Plaguespreader, summon the Plaguespreader, banish this thing, summon another one, go into Coral Dragon, go into Tzolkin. That's what I used him for, but that rarely comes up, actually. And he's not as useful as Shaddoll Dragon, I found out, so running 2 Shaddoll Dragon I think is better. I tried running a 3rd Drilldark. That works really well, but I had to cut it, sadly, so. Dystopia, don't really like this guy that much. Starving Venom's much better. You go into him more often. This guy is really only good if you're running, like, Dynamite, like Dynatag, and he's not good at all, so you don't want to run him, really. Any sort of rank 8 engine thing, Hope Harbinger, the Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis, that thing. Any of these sort of things, just any sort of rank 8s. I didn't have room for them, so. And usually you don't want to go into them because sometimes the level 8 synchros and level 8 fusions are just better. Dasher was good, but like drawing him just sucks. Like, especially if you don't have Destiny Draw in your hand, you can't do anything with him. It's sort of like running a 4th Malicious that isn't a Malicious. It's worse than Malicious. I cut him. Escreedao was okay. I was running like Escreedao, Absolute Zero, and then like Miracle Fusion. I tried running it at 2 and I cut it to 1. I finally cut it entirely. Absolute Zero is really good because if you summon out a Tzolkin, like, say your hand looks like, let's move these over. Let's say your hand looks like that, plus this, plus this. So, if this is what your hand looks like, then you can summon Red Resonator, summon the Drilldark, summon the Mali, Synchro into Coral Dragon, and then Synchro into your Tzolkin, set this, set your Miracle Fusion, summon something with this, and then activate this. Then you have Coral Dragon, and then probably Drilldark in your graveyard, banish those, and bring out your Absolute Zero. So you'd end with this field, basically. So that's pretty good. That's what I was using him for, but it had like one purpose, and really didn't do much else, and sometimes it would brick, so I just decided to cut it. Like, it's still a good card. I recommend trying it if you can get it to work better than I can, then good for you, but I couldn't get it to really work that well, so I ended up cutting it. And obviously, like, the 2nd Resonator Call, which I might end up running, we'll see. Master Key Beetle, that's sort of just protected stuff. It really isn't useful for anything else. It's too slow, I think, for the deck. Gofu, since it's a level 5, it didn't really work, so cut that. Level Leader, same thing, it didn't really help with anything. It's not a Synchro spam deck, so it really wasn't good in the deck at all, but I still tried it, because I could. The other 2 Celestials, I spent $18 on Celestial, and I ended up only using 1, so yeah, but I have 3 in case I need 1, or in case I need 3, but I'm only running 1, so. But there's the other 2 in here, in case I need them. They sort of brick, and like I said, they're only really good to send to the graveyard with like Beatrice during your opponent's turn, and then during your turn, banish it, draw 2. Decider's okay. It's sort of just like a way worse Stratos, because it's only once per duel. It's a once per duel effect. It's really only good to summon off of like Drilldark. Use its effect, go into a rank 4, attach Drilldark, and then Decider's effect will resolve. You'll add Drilldark back to your hand, you know? It's really all it's good for, and it's not that good. 3rd Shadow Mist, I cut it because you don't need 3 Shadow Mist in the deck. It's not a Dark Law Turbo deck, so yeah. Polys, I cut them because it's not a fusion deck anymore. It's more of a Tzolkin deck, so just running the 1 fusion substitute is enough, and the Lunalight Black Sheep to search it. And I tried running Jet Synchron because I could. I tried running it, and it doesn't work, surprisingly enough, because it's a level 1 tuner that you need to run a bunch of other cards for it to actually work. Yeah, so I tried to make it more of like a dark synchro deck for a while, but that didn't end up working. I think I'll have a combo video out soon, so like I'll show some like how the deck actually like works and stuff. I'll get that to you guys in a later video. But for now, thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, I mean, go ahead. If you do, thank you. If you don't, you know, that's fine. I didn't care anyway. Yeah, I'm not crying at all. Yeah, see you guys maybe in like the next 10 years.